All right. Philip here from Toon Tactics TV, giving you my pre-match preview for Newcastle's Champions League game against AC Milan, which is tomorrow. It is at St James's Park, as all are aware, and it is an absolutely massive game, not just for Newcastle, but both for Newcastle and for AC Milan. So let's look into the various tactics, context of the game, where the teams are, and what's going on. Now, going into this game, I looked at the Serie A. This is on FotMob. We're looking into the both teams' previous 5 games, which are very, very similar. They both won 2 games, lost 2 games, and drawn 1. And that's the form that they're coming into it. Obviously, with Newcastle United, the recent loss to Tottenham Hotspur 4-1 was, I don't know if it's quite was a disappointing loss, and there are various conversations as to why Newcastle are losing. Some people are putting it down to fatigue, injuries, obviously limited squad rotation, and obviously particularly in the Spurs game, Spurs just play better. I think all those are factors. I think though, just talking about fatigue in itself, when I was thinking about it, I listened to Dan Burns' interview and I listened to what Alan Shearer had to say. And I think where possibly Eddie Howe might be coming from, but hasn't said. When we're talking about fatigue, I don't think we're talking about physical fatigue. I think we're talking about possibly mental fatigue. Dan Burns mentioned how he has more respect for players like Harry Kane, who have played in Champions League in Europe year in, year out, mixing it with domestic cups and the Premier League. And he was saying how before he had this experience, Dan Burn, that he could have time because to switch off between games. And when you're talking about switching off, you're about mentally switching off. He wasn't so much talking about the physical aspect of it. And it was a small clip that I saw, but it's about the mental switching off. Whereas when you're playing in the European competitions, you have 1 day of recovery and then you go straight back into it. So you never really get that time to switch off. And so now that Newcastle are at this elite level, the players are beginning to experience what it means. And so I think that, for me personally, that could be the more significant factor. But no one's complaining. Eddie Howe certainly isn't complaining. Dan Burn certainly isn't complaining, and neither is Alan Shearer. And so we're looking forward into this game. We want to qualify. Let's see what we can do. Now, season so far, if you compare the teams together, Newcastle obviously sits 7th in position. AC Milan sit 3rd in the Serie A. Newcastle have won 8 games so far. AC Milan have won 9. Newcastle have drawn 2. AC Milan have also drawn 2. Newcastle have lost 6 games. Obviously, the last 2 means quite significant. And AC Milan have lost 4. Now, goals per match, Newcastle currently at 2.06. So Newcastle are very much bound to score goals, lots of goals in whatever game they play in. AC Milan are at 1.73. Newcastle goals conceded. Newcastle's obviously has risen recently to 1.31, and AC Milan is up at 1.2. So both sides in form, in games won, games lost are quite similar, and have a lot riding on, have a lot of similarities in terms of how they're doing and what's happening with them. Now, obviously, we know with the injuries, I'm sure Newcastle are not comparable to anybody in the league. We all know about Newcastle's injuries. Sadio Tonali is obviously suspended. So Botman, hopefully, we never know, might make an appearance back on the bench. I hope. Nick Pope's essentially out for the rest of the year, really. Matt Target, Joseph Willock, Jacob Murphy, Harvey Barnes. Again, another one that could be coming back this week. Elliot Anderson, and obviously Dan Burns, speaking of him, is out. Now, although AC Milan have literally probably less than half of what players out compared to Newcastle, significantly, they got a few centre backs out. And what's that caused, if we're going to the lineup itself, is, and this is the predicted lineup, that you may see what you may see is sorry, a little bit up there, 4-3-3 for AC Milan. You might see Theo Fernandez, who is or Teo Fernandez, who's usually on that left side of the pitch, playing at centre back of Tomori. Now that's a bit of a relief for Newcastle because one of AC Milan's key strengths has been down that left side between Teo Hernandez and Rafael Leao, the tall, strong, athletic, fast, intelligent winger, and their relationship, their one-twos, their overlapping of each other has been significant and did cause Newcastle a lot of damage in the first game. So with Theo Hernandez having to tuck in at centre back and the slightly less inability Florenzi having to do that job, Newcastle might have a little bit of relief. Obviously, Leao is playing, that has come back from injury since the 5th of December. So that side is still going to be significant. What it does give AC Milan is to have two ball playing centre backs in Hernandez and Tomori, though they're not as big or as physical, for instance, as Shaw and Lascelles. So I'm wondering if if the latter stage of the game when maybe Callum Wilson will come on, he'll enjoy that physical battle and it will give Newcastle a further attacking impetus. And also. In terms of the other side of the wing with Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek, it'll be Gordon and Joe Linton coming up against them as well. Now, Loftus-Cheek played really, really well against us in the first game, carries the ball really well, strong, obviously Premier League, ex-Chelsea player, obviously and Pulisic as well. Both Chelsea players, they know what it's all about, and Loftus-Cheek played really well. Obviously, Giroud, former Arsenal player, also played in the Premier League, clinical striker, but he's not pacey. He's not fast. So what I'm wondering and what I'm hoping in this game is that Newcastle can push up. Yes, there's Rafael Leao and there's Pulisic on the wings, but I believe that Livramento can more than handle Pulisic. And I believe the battle between Joe Linton and Loftus-Cheek is going to be last time it was Tonali. That was a fearsome battle. I think Joe Linton's even stronger than Tonali, and I think he could have the better of Loftus-Cheek, and Gordon can come up and push up against them and really test Calabria and down that left-hand side. Isak, obviously, against Tomori and Hernandez. I need Isak and Gordon to really, really step up in this game, to really put their mark onto the pitch, onto the game, and make themselves felt. I'm hoping that Shaw, Lascelles, Trippier, Livramento will all push up. Gordon, Isak, Almiron will all push up, and I'm hoping for Gomes to also be able to take the ball on more and be able to spread it to the right, to the left, as well as to Isak in the center. I believe this is a game that we can actually take more of a possession, so long as we attack AC Milan and put our foothold on the game and show energy. I'm glad to have Longstaff back. I think Longstaff gives us. He's our designated driver. He gives Gomes and Joe Linton the confidence to push up, to play. They know what they're going to get with Longstaff. He's reading the game, his positional awareness, his ability to sniff out danger, his progressive passing forwards, which people don't always see, but he does really good progressive passing forwards, as well as just giving Gomes the ball and always looking for him before making a pass himself. I'm back in Newcastle. I'm believing that Isak and Gordon will step up. Gomes will get onto the ball. I believe we can dominate the midfield. I believe we can handle what AC Milan can give us on the wings, although I don't at all underplay what Rafael Leao can do. But Rafael Leao, I think, is instructed not to track back, and Pulisic and others not to track back, and we can take advantage of that. We can push up on their wings. We can overlap on them, and we can win. I'm back in Newcastle. I believe that we can win this game, and I'm backing us to win this game 2-1. Let me know what you guys think. Send in your views and opinions. Like and subscribe. Until next time, guys, take care and God bless.